CZ wants to centralize DeFi. That's right, you heard me correct. Could this mean a step forward for the industry, or is this a step towards what we already know? Centralized institutions that don't deserve our trust. Are we just recreating banks here with a blockchain backend? We'll get to all of this and more in just a second, but first, let's take a look at Bitcoin price action and analyze the mainstream investment markets to understand where we are in the scope of this larger macro bull trend. If you guys are excited for this episode, do me a favor and absolutely destroy that like button. Don't forget that we're giving away a Ledger Nano S, and all you have to do to be entered is comment below. Also, of course, the Ledger giveaway is only for subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also, you're going to want to check that little bell notification. That way you're made aware whenever I put out new content. So the reality is that Bitcoin is still very much undetermined here. I don't know how many of you out there are traders, but I've been following some really talented traders for the last few years, and bull market or bear market, they seem to be making a killing. Trading is a really difficult lifestyle. It's not for everybody, but if you put in the time, months or years, you can learn the craft. I highly encourage you to check out Crown if you want to learn how to trade. The link to his channel is in the description. But it looks like if we're able to reclaim this purple box territory, you could see if we were able to have a daily close above this purple box territory, that might mean that we're trying to put in a reversal here on Bitcoin, and more Bitcoin stability, as we know, is good for the altcoin space. As long as Bitcoin is stable or gaining, we could probably see more exuberance and excitement out of the altcoin space and go back to making those insane gains that we've been experiencing throughout the late summer. However, if Bitcoin is to break down significantly below 10K and have a big bounce off of that 9100 level, my prediction is that we'll see one of the biggest opportunities of 2020 emerge. The ability to buy at a discount some of the most promising and explosive altcoins of this new bull cycle. And if we look to previous bull cycles, the opportunity for altcoins to appreciate in value is absolutely mind-boggling, with things like Ripple, things like Neo appreciating tens of thousands of percents, giving you hundreds of X's, sometimes thousands of X's of gains. That is the true moonshot that we are all here for. Meanwhile, on the higher time frames, Bitcoin really does appear to be coiling up like a snake, and its next movement to the upside, its next movement hopefully above 14K, if we are able to make it to new all-time highs, I believe has the potential to change our modern financial world. Bitcoin as an asset is something that the world desperately needs and has never seen before. So if it is able to regain its strength and get back to its all-time high by first reclaiming this $10,400, $500 level, whichever one you see, and then building strength towards the upside, hopefully overcoming these highs of 12K, that would be incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. Even if it does go down, as long as we stay above this support in the low 9,000s, 9,100, I am feeling like this is the chance for us to get in on some of those coins that you might have missed out on. The Lens, the Synthetics, the Aves, the very established altcoins, the Polkadot projects that stand to gain tremendously and take the brunt of new investment in this bull trend. Which, by the way, the big altcoin seasons are going to happen after Bitcoin makes its new highs. That's when the explosive growth will really start. So if you think the 20, 30, 50 X's that we've had so far are way too good to be true, the reality of altcoin season will melt your face. However, we just don't know if that's the world we're in, and we're waiting for confirmation and playing it slow and steady here on this channel. If you guys do want to trade, again, just for experienced traders, there is a link to Prime XBT where you can short and long Bitcoin along with a bunch of different assets, and they give you a 50% deposit bonus on your funds. But again, if you're not an experienced trader, you're probably just going to lose your money, so I wouldn't encourage you to trade. However, if you do sign up with my link, it supports the channel and I appreciate it. Obviously, over the last few days, we've been looking at DXY, which is the US dollar currency index, and as we saw yesterday, it put in a pretty bullish bounce here off of this support line that we have been charting. Obviously, you know, this isn't very technical, maybe it's down here or whatever, but however you draw it, it really looks like that wick hit this support line and it bounced up, which is kind of bullish. However, as you can see, these horizontal resistances here at, what is it called, it's 93.6, 93.8, it didn't get above this previous high here of this prior candle, and so we don't know yet how legit this is, and especially as we know some kind of announcement of stimulus should be announced at some point, somehow, some way. This will probably weaken the dollar and continue the 6 or 7 month downtrend that we've experienced. Again, big resistance to overcome at 94.5, even if it does get over that resistance. So the actual actual bull trend for the US dollar is far from established, but regardless, this short-term air has been sucked out of markets like Bitcoin. We also have NASDAQ selling off a little bit, still kind of close to yesterday's close, but I like to keep a good eye on NASDAQ and Dixie over the last few days, as Dixie's been a really good inverse comparison point, and of course the NASDAQ has been playing very similar to Bitcoin over the last few days, sitting at about 10.8 while Bitcoin's at about 10.3. The numbers are even so staggeringly similar. But for our main topic of the day, we're going to be talking about DeFi, as CZ pretty much set the internet on fire with this thread. He essentially is throwing his weight behind CeFi, which is a little bit confusing, but you can just think of it as using BNB to deposit and having them on the back end make a bunch of complex yield farming type moves on behalf of you, allowing for you to mine and benefit from a variety of projects. And he's essentially laying out what he sees as the advantages of CeFi, which, if you're listening to people like CZ or people like Anthony Pompliano, you may believe that CeFi is coming to take DeFi's lunch. Because as we know, decentralization is not the key selling point for cryptocurrencies. Most people just care about gains. So let's talk for a second in an open and honest way about CeFi and what CZ is laying out here. He says, DeFi is great, I love it, but CeFi is about to give it a run for its money. Two advantages of CDFi offers, I guess he's just trying to say, okay, yeah, this is still run like DeFi off blockchains and cryptos, but we're doing it in a centralized way, meaning he's able to have exchange-vetted products and tokens, not bulletproof, sometimes may even be negative because you're adding a middleman, a gatekeeper, and that inherently keeps certain projects out, that inherently prevents access, open access to certain projects. But a reputable centralized exchange is financially incentivized to maintain it. Think ICO versus IEO, meaning ICO, you pretty much have to do all of your own vetting. IEO, the actual exchange, vets the project and makes sure that it's of quality. So you have essentially a middleman ensuring quality. This is the same thing which he's proposing for CeFi or CDFi, meaning just essentially you have a centralized organization operating on your behalf, even if they're investing in DeFi. You have to choose between a single project. With CeFi, BNB staked on Binance can/will earn multiple yields/tokens simultaneously. Think 1x versus nx, n being it could be as high as 7, 8, 9, 10, a million, you don't know, n can go as far as it can go. Hard to ignore. So he tags this BNB. He also says Binance has the effective right of first refusal for almost all new projects, just saying #BNB. First of all, he's saying that when you stake Binance on Binance's new DeFi product, which obviously the big players like Coinbase and Binance have to be licking their lips, understanding that they could potentially offer something of quality to this ecosystem. And then you have Binance saying that they also have the right of first refusal, meaning that all new projects essentially want to go to Binance, go there for funding, for support, for token listings. They provide a tremendous amount of infrastructure to new projects, meaning what he's saying is that almost everybody goes to CZ trying to get the nod, and that would be the easiest way to launch their project. He's saying all the good projects come to us anyway, and we can actually help you. Instead of mining a single project with your coins, we can actually help you mine a bunch of different projects with your coins, nx versus 1x. And so in reality, what he's saying is, if you're greedy and you want the best projects and you want us to mine them for you, we can take care of that. Conversely, we've also seen the big issues with establishing centralized players and allowing them to essentially control the ecosystem. And essentially everybody putting their money onto Binance for staking would be kind of like reinventing the bank, where you go to the bank, you leave your money there, and they invest it for you. This would be the crypto equivalent. And so while it is commendable to essentially take this road, it is obviously politically dangerous to say these things in public the way CZ has said him. And I do commend him for taking the risk and pointing out the fact that CeFi, or essentially a little bit smarter, more centralized products, might be able to deliver higher returns to investors. That's the end statement that he's trying to make here. And he's sort of supporting that by saying, by the way, we know who all the big players are. They all come to us first, all the best projects. So what is fast emerging is a choice now between the R&D environment that DeFi has created, all of the risks therein, which of course there are many and varied, and now the option to essentially set it and forget it on Binance by staking BNB, which has historically been a fairly highly returning investment, and get yourself access to all of those juicy yields, not just one of them, but maybe a wide array of them all at once through vetted projects on Binance. It's a tasty offering that he's provided here, and something that will most likely attract a ridiculous amount of liquidity. So the big question is this a trend that's going to come and try to really disrupt what's going on in DeFi? Is DeFi going to lose its luster the way ICOs did to IEOs, with CDFi Fi or CeFi compared to DeFi. If you do remember, after ICOs lost their shine in 2017, IEOs really picked up the pace in 2019 and became the hot ticket, with projects like Matic launching on Binance and creating tremendous amounts of gains for their holders, as well as pumping the heck out of BNB tokens. So maybe he's looking for a round 2 of that in 2021, where essentially Binance comes in and starts deciding who are the worthy and who are the unworthy DeFi projects. To be honest, a lot of this is unwritten, but if you're following people like Anthony Pompliano, that was his big commentary on DeFi, is that big banks and big companies are just going to look at this as R&D and take their big money bags and put them into smarter, more centralized versions of this technology, which he refers to generally as automated finance. To be honest, I believe that DeFi has done some interesting things. I also do question some of the things that DeFi has accomplished. Some things that DeFi has inspired, I do believe to be generally negative as well, which I think it's okay. Nothing is 100% good. Nothing is 100% bad. The truth of the matter typically lies in between. And so I think it's important not to have a knee-jerk reaction to this, but to analyze it based on facts and data. We know that the big banks and that the big money bags are looking at what's going on in cryptocurrency, and specifically now DeFi, and trying to understand how they can play in this ecosystem and benefit from it. And of course, they're trying to win the game as usual. So I think it's worth understanding that there will be a new chapter of DeFi, and CZ's announcement here is really a harbinger of things to come. Don't shoot the messenger, as it were, because CZ's just identifying a powerful trend that he's going to take advantage of. But again, if not him, it would be someone else. So I don't think it's worth crucifying him for this, but let's have an open and honest discussion about it. I do believe DeFi will continue to trudge forward, but it's pretty clear how easy it is to knock off a DeFi project. Look at the YF clone army. But we can see that it would be pretty hard to knock off what Binance is doing behind closed doors. So in conclusion on this rant, I believe CDFI is coming. It's something not to be ignored, something that could, in the end, deliver more returns to investors. And it's something that if Binance isn't going to do, probably big other players are going to do. Don't get emotional about it. Look at the data. Now, does that mean you have to put your money in it? Of course not. But in reality, gains will be the biggest marketing of all, as they always have been here in crypto land. And so I wouldn't expect everyone to die on their idealistic sword here. I would expect a lot of people to hop in and start playing in CZ's pool if it is more profitable, but that is yet to be seen. Let me know what you think about the Binance CDFI situation in the comment section below, and let's keep the conversation going. Of course, articles like this make a lot of sense in that context, that Ethereum 2.0 is coming, but it's unlikely to speed up enterprise DeFi adoption because enterprises aren't necessarily interested in adopting DeFi the way it's set up on Ethereum. This is just tailing onto the same exact thought that we've just been expressing in the previous segment. And so I think it's worth talking about now Anthony Pompliano, who of course has been a guest on this show, and we'd love to have him back sometime soon, who has been notorious for being hesitant about the DeFi wave because essentially he expressed that a lot of this would become what's called automated finance, which is I guess maybe what CZ is describing here with CDFI, essentially having a more advanced, more centralized version of this that essentially produces more gains. And DeFi is being considered more of an R&D factory for that next financial wave. I certainly think that that's something we can even count on, but in some good news, he just convinced Jim Cramer from Mad Money on CNBC to buy his first Bitcoin. I think the work Anthony Pompliano is doing is very interesting. It's slow, it's hard work, when in reality, the US dollar essentially losing its strength is going to be the best marketing. So there's the long play and the short play, but it's good that Pomp is going out there and trying to convince the old established Wall Street money bags and Silicon Valley bags that they should be investing in Bitcoin. To this effect, Anthony Pompliano actually just started his own rolling fund on AngelList. Now, he says he's betting on himself. He's been an investor at Morgan Creek Digital, which is a digital assets fund, and he says he's betting on himself, essentially allowing people to invest into his fund where he is the sort of sole partner and essentially able to unilaterally make investment decisions. I think this is awesome, and to be honest, I'm a big believer in betting on oneself. In fact, I do it daily, and this might actually inspire me to do something similar in the future, as I've always wanted to run my own fund. So I'll see how Anthony Pompliano's does, and maybe you guys can comment in the comment section below whether you'd support me starting my own fund. We also get yet another chapter in the Sushi saga, with Chef Nomi apparently returning $14 million worth of Ethereum back to the treasury and deciding that they can choose to let him stay or go. I don't know if he's paying for 14 million to get his job back, whether he just wants to be not considered a scammer, or whether this is related to the wave of people saying that they would launch an FBI investigation to find who this man is and hold him accountable. I'll let the viewer decide what is the most logical explanation, but regardless, we see Sushi clinging to relevance here like that gum stuck on the bottom of your shoe. Who knows what's ahead for Sushi? I personally have no idea, but it's been interesting to watch nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think. Is Chef Nomi returning the 14 million, Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX and now Serum fame taking the project over? Are these things that will lead to long-term bullishness, or has the Sushi turned sour? Are you sick of hearing about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And in news that's almost stranger than fiction, the anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorists have surprisingly targeted blockchain. At their anti-lockdown rally in London, they started screaming and chanting, "Don't blockchain our babies," with a placard saying, "We do not consent to your technology." And so I guess blockchain is now being wrapped up in conspiracy theories. The plot never stops getting thicker. I think this meme just about says it all. We also have the news that USDC is capable of 1,000 TPS on Algorand, but that's just as we got the news that big European states are calling for cryptocurrency curbs, specifically banning stablecoins. I think the big target here is Libra and Facebook's crypto, but again, the policy aspect of this is really up in the air. So I'll leave you with that. The macro factors around Bitcoin really have never been stronger. If we can get a little bit of relief from this Dixie rally, we can get another announcement of stimulus, all of which seem fairly likely. It looks like Bitcoin could be headed for more highs. Again, all eyes are on that $10,000 level, as if it dips below it, we're expecting hopefully a pronounced bounce somewhere in the 9,000s. Again, if you are going to trade only for experienced traders, I encourage you guys to use my link to sign up for Prime XBT. If you're not an experienced trader, please don't do it, because you're most likely going to get wrecked. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, I've been tweeting up a storm. I encourage you guys to follow me over there, as well as join my Telegram group. The links for both of those are in the description. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. All you have to do is comment below, but it's only available to subscribers. And as soon as we get some confirmation of stability in this market, we're going to go back to covering the newest and most exciting and undervalued projects in the space. And those videos are going to be time sensitive indeed, so you're going to want to subscribe and make sure you have that bell notification on. As usual, my name's Elio Trades. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.